Good afternoon. I know it's been a long day and my presentation will be the last, but we have a very fun part because we have the new innovative TCM5, which was just recently launched. My talk will comprise mainly clinical regarding TCM5, and then I'll go into the product. What is transcutaneous monitoring? Basically, transcutaneous monitoring measures the PCO2 and PO2. It's done by having a sensor that's applied onto the skin, and it takes into account the blood exchange, gas exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen by the application of heat. Heat is applied around 41 degrees to get an accurate reading of PCO2 that's left for 5 minutes, and oxygen is for 10 minutes. Now, what are the TC sensors that are involved? Basically, as you can see here on the chart, you have the sensor, and it's coated with gold. This helps to protect the sensor itself. You have two types of membrane. One is paper, and the other is plastic. And the ideal sites for that are the chest, abdomen, the upper thigh, and the forehead. Neonates are becoming more and more small, and hence difficult to survive. Hence, what are our patient needs? Basically, preterms are very susceptible to changes in arterial oxygen and carbon dioxide, and also because of complications of treatments. Sudden undetected changes can lead to major organ failures. And also, hence, continuous determination of blood gas is important. However, blood volume is very low, especially with the neonates, about 500 grams or so. Why do we need the continuous monitoring of oxygen? First of all, we have risks of hypoxemia, and we can divide that into the delivery room or the NICU itself. So complications can be hypoxic ischemia, encephalopathy. We've got the multi-organ dysfunction, adverse neural development problems. In the NICU, we have increased mortality or death or even developmental delay. And finally, risks of hyperoxia. And again, overuse of oxygen, you can lead to retinopathy, vascular damage, and even studies have shown to increase risk of leukemia, as well as infection as well. What about risks of hypercapnia or hypocapnia? Again, we have disasters that can develop from them. High levels can develop can cause acidosis or increased cerebral blood flow. Low levels can result in reduction of blood flow, oxygen transport, and worsening of ischemia. Now, what are the benefits clinically of the TCM? Obviously, we want to continuously monitor oxygen and carbon dioxide to prevent these fluctuations of hypoxia and hyperexemia. Also, reducing the number of blood samples, so you can save blood from the neonates as well. In terms of transcutaneous carbon dioxide, you're reacting quicker to ventilation and high-frequency ventilation as well. What about transcutaneous oxygen? Again, you're preparing yourself to prevent any shock or low cardiac output, as well as poor perfusion. And also, monitoring of the transcutaneous oxygen, you're quantitating the degree of impairment blood flow, early detection of hypoxia, and again, it reflects how much oxygenation to be included. Typically, we indicate indication for TCM in ICU include situations of high risk or abnormal or fast-changing blood gas values. So neonates with respiratory problems or respiratory failure, they would have high fluctuation of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Neonates receiving supplementary oxygen, again, because you need to titrate the exact oxygen for the neonates. And also neonates on high-frequency ventilation, surfactant therapy, monitoring of hypercapnia, and also weaning off the ventilator because you need exact settings in order to prevent any problems that can happen later on. I'll just quickly go over two studies to actually show the reliability of the TCM5. Now, there's a study that was done back in 1973 comparing transcutaneous oxygen with arterial oxygen. And as you can see here, there is quite a linear relationship between both. Another study was done on transcutaneous carbon dioxide monitoring, and it was compared to arterial carbon dioxide. And this, we had 50 patients that were involved, and they were very low birth weight infants. And as you can see here again, results are the same. They are comparable with transcutaneous carbon dioxide and arterial carbon dioxide, showing a quite linear relationship. Finally, I'll just talk briefly about the TCM5, which is, this is what it looks like in real life. Less than a minute. Okay, so the TCM, basically it compromises NICU and it has adult home care sleep. So we can have it on two different modes. The basic monitor, which is the adult mode, and you can have it here for adults, say ICU department, surgery, vascular surgery, sleep, and home care. And here we're using sensor 92, measuring PCO2 and SPO2. And you can also change the modes to NICU modes, where you can have 3 different sensors that can attach to it. Sensor 92, which measures again PCO2 and SPO2. Sensor 54, just CO2, and sensor 84, PO2 and PCO2. In terms of usability, you've got here the power button. You've got here where the wire attaches to it, as you can see here. You can. Sorry, I had 2 more slots. Okay, it's okay.